Vince McMahon used to say nobody does pay-per-view like the World Wrestling Federation. That was years ago. But what about 2022? Who's doing pay-per-views like All Elite Wrestling, especially Revolution from Orlando, Florida? Man, let me tell you, a stacked card from top to bottom for AEW Revolution. I thought it was extraordinary what they were able to put together. All those matches that many of them could have been main events of Dynamite or Rampage or even this pay-per-view. It was amazing how Tony Khan had to put this card together. The heavyweight championships on the line, Adam Cole against Adam Page. That was off the chain, and that was the main event. It wasn't even the best match on the card, but I really like the story that was told all the way up to the matchup, and it shows you why Adam Cole, baby, had all of these great main event matches at NXT, and Adam Page, Hangman Adam Page, is getting better and better every time we see him in these high-octane heavyweight title matches. And he came through again, and I can see why he's building momentum in AEW. And then think about Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson. The finish was even better than the match, in which we see William Regal come out there out of nowhere. And he comes there and he slaps the face of Danielson, slaps the face of Moxley, and now it looks like they're going to be a tag team because Regal brought them both together. But you know, that was a hard physical match. I turn on AEW Revolution and I get New Japan Pro Wrestling. I didn't expect to see New Japan style wrestling on this pay-per-view, but I did. Moxley against Danielson arguably was one of the best matches on that card. It was really physical. It was really bloody, and it was fun to watch. I know Danielson was into it because he loves the pain. He loves to administer the pain, and he did on Jon Moxley, and Moxley was firing right back. So two guys that really love to get in there. Yeah, they did a great job, I thought, in that matchup. The dog collar match with CM Punk against MJF. So everyone talks about Greg the Hammer Valentine against Roddy Piper from Starrcade in the early 80s. And that was a hell of a matchup. There's no doubt about that. Because the first time we saw a dog collar match at Starrcade, right? But these two put their own spin on it. And it was fantastic. We talk about physical matchups and stories that are being told in the ring. You saw that with CM Punk and MJF. And yes, Wardlow did get involved in the end, but you saw MJF and CM Punk bleed. It was old school territory wrestling. Go back and take a look at some of the wrestling from the 80s and the territory days where you had guys bleeding and busting each other open and just scratching and clawing to try to get a victory. Those two battled to exhaustion, I thought, at CM Punk and MJF. What a great story that was told. CM Punk comes out on top. My question is, what happens to MJF now? Is this the end of the feud, or is there more to come? That's the question I would have for this. Is this the blow-off, or is there more to come with MJF? But hats off to those two. That was a sensational matchup. So I loved what I saw there from Revolution. I want to get your thoughts on it as well. Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston had a great start to Revolution. As Eddie Kingston comes out with the victory, it was kind of strange. He was kind of like, yeah, I won. Of course you won, Eddie. You deserve that. And I like that finish that he had on Chris Jericho. It was well-deserved for Eddie Kingston. He's had a lot of matches where he's battled well but fell short, but he was able to win against Chris Jericho, so I really like that a lot. One match I was not a fan of, and that is Jade Cargill against Conti. I would like to see those two wrestle more. And here's what happens when you don't have house shows to really work on. Jade Cargill and Conti, I think, was okay, but it could have been better than just a C+, B-. I want to see more from Jade Cargill. She just needs more seasoning against the veteran Conti. Here's a matchup that I thought that was disappointing the most, and that was Britt Baker against Thunder Rosa. How many times are we going to see outside interference on the part of Britt Baker, DMD? That's enough of that. Can I just see these two, or Britt Baker and her opponent, just one-on-one? Can we just get that just once? It's a pay-per-view. It's an important pay-per-view, and yet it was 3-on-1 again, and Thunder Rosa lost. Thunder Rosa could have lost cleanly to Britt Baker. I think she's that good. But now it's this outside interference too much in Baker and Thunder Rosa. My hope is that we're able to see these two one-on-one cage match. I don't know what it's going to take, but I'm tired of the outside interference because now it's getting old. Britt Baker can be a dominant women's wrestler in the AEW without the outside interference. But how would you know? Because there's always, here comes people from the outside. Here comes Jamie Hayter. Enough. I want to see Britt Baker just win cleanly on a regular basis on big-time matches without the outside interference. What'd you think of Revolution? I thought it was a thumbs up. It was good to see Swerve Scott in there. It's good to see him. It's good to see William Regal. And boy, when it comes to pay-per-view wrestling, here's what it comes down to. It comes down to quality. You don't have pay-per-views to have that as a bridge to something else. What you saw is great matches. Pay-per-views back in the day, they would be always the best because you'd see something that you wouldn't see on regular television. You wouldn't see that on your local cable, Raw or Nitro or shows from the past, ECW. Pay-per-view was always a step above. And I think we saw that in AEW Revolution. Tell me what you think. Comment below. I loved AEW Revolution. What you think?